Hi, I'm Richard Watts, founder of HR Maritime. Welcome to Commodity Brief, the show all about commodity trading, in partnership with Dukascopy TV. In this episode, we're carrying on looking at all the different angles of commodity trading, and now we're going to be looking at trading companies themselves. So when we're talking about trading companies, every single trading company is different. They have different methods of being structured, and they have different commodities that they will be dealing with. But all of them are buying and selling commodities. Now, these trading companies, as we said in one of the first episodes, trading is absolutely essential to the world that we live in, and these trading companies are providing a service, and they are buying goods in one place, selling them somewhere else where there is a demand for them. So if we start having a look at the different trading companies, we have a huge concentration of trading companies here in the Geneva area, if we count Geneva, Nyon, and also Vevey and Montreux. And so we are very fortunate to be represented here in Switzerland by the STSA. STSA is the Swiss Trading and Shipping Association, and they represent trading companies and shipping companies in the Swiss area. So whenever we're looking at the different trading companies, they often get broken down into the different types of commodities that they are dealing with. Now, as I said, it's never clear-cut, and some of the trading companies will be dealing with a whole range of commodities, whereas some of the trading companies will be focused on a very specific type of commodity. If we start having a look at agricultural goods, then we can focus on what is often known as the ABCD of trading. Now, ABCD, because we have ADM, we have Bunge, we have Cargill, and we have Dreyfus. And these are effectively the top 4 companies that are involved in agricultural trading. If we take Cargill, for example, Cargill is currently celebrating their 150th anniversary, and they are very, very well known, very, very present in this world of trading. They have their office here in Geneva, and they have a large number of staff based here dealing in many, many different commodities. Otherwise, if we go on to have a look at oil, and oil, it's often stated that about 35% of the global trade in oil is traded through Geneva. So Geneva is a very, very present part of the market for oil. And when we're looking at oil, we have some of the really big names here in Geneva. And so we have companies like Vitol, probably one of the largest, Trafigura, we have Mercuria here in Geneva, we have Litasco, Adax, and SOCAR. And all of these companies are trading very, very large quantities of oil. A lot of information about their financial status, about their revenues can be found on their website. It's not trying to be hidden. It is publicly available and can be found simply by doing a very, very quick search. So whenever we're talking about trading companies, as I said, they're all structured in different ways. And so we have, first of all, we have the trading in the centre. That is the most important. That's why the trading exists. That's why the company is there. But we will also have a shipping department, because it is vital to move these commodities around the world as efficiently as possible. So we'll have the shipping department, which will be chartering the vessels, which will also be operating the vessels and handling the day-to-day operations, everything that needs to be done to move the cargoes around. And some of these trading companies have even taken the step of purchasing vessels because there were good opportunities in the market, they have regular flows, and it made a lot of sense. We also have a finance department, and so the finance department is going to be looking after the financial situation of the company, looking after the payments to pay for the goods, to receive payment for the goods, and so this is again very, very important. They will be managing the relationships with the banks. We have the operations department. They are handling the day-to-day contractual operations. We might have a contract department who are agreeing on the actual contracts themselves. We will then have an insurance department who is handling the insurance requirements of the company, and we will have other areas such as accounting. Now, in every single area of the trading company, counterparty relationships are vital. It is important to have good relations with our counterparties and make sure that when we need someone's assistance, they will help us. There's no point trying to create a relationship after we already have a dispute or a problem. So in terms of trading companies, we're seeing 3 very large changes at the moment in the world of trading. The first is we're seeing a change in the types of trading companies that we have. We used to have a range from small to medium to large size trading companies and quite an even split in between there. Now we're finding more and more that the medium sized trading companies are disappearing. This is because it is much more difficult for them to obtain financing, for them to comply with various regulations, and so they are disappearing over time in some commodities much quicker than in other commodities. And we are seeing large trading companies which are getting larger and larger, and we see quite a few small niche trading companies which are taking advantage of the small niche markets which the large trading companies don't necessarily want to become involved in. Another change that we're seeing at the moment is the vertical integration of the trading companies. And so we take a trading company that used to be for many years simply buying at the load port, selling at the discharge port. We're seeing them now expanding their operations into the origin and the destination, buying up farms, buying up distribution networks at the destination so that they can control more of the value chain. And we're seeing this progressing faster and faster, and in some commodities it's got to the point where we have some of the trading companies which control the whole chain. And the third change that we're seeing at the moment is that we're seeing the trading companies that were traditionally in the middle, and we had the exporter at the origin, we had the importer at the destination, and now the lines are becoming increasingly blurred. And what that means is we have a wonderful example here in Geneva, the company SOCAR. The company SOCAR is the state oil company of the Azerbaijan Republic, and for a long time they were exporting their crude production. They were exporting it as pure exporters. Back in about 2007, 2008, they set up in Geneva in order to trade their cargo and to operate in the international market. Then they started trading other cargoes, also in the international markets, and then they took the added step of purchasing networks of petrol stations in Switzerland, and so now we see petrol stations with the SOCAR brand, and this is an example of an exporter who has gone from not only exporting, but has moved into the trading world and has even gone into importing, and so the lines that were clear before have become more and more blurred. Now, as I said, a lot of this information is publicly available on the websites of the trading companies, and we just have to simply search for that information. But it's important for this to be known because it's seen as a very secretive area of business, and in fact it's not quite as secretive as we think. And the profit margins compared to the turnover of the companies are actually surprisingly slim, because what these companies are doing is they're buying cargoes and they are selling cargoes, and so all the money they're making is that small amount in between. So that brings us to the end of this episode of Commodity Brief, and so I hope that you'll click back soon. This has been in partnership with Dukascopy TV. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.